I wasn't born at the time, you know, but my grandmother got it, and she was a teenager. She was baptized as well, and 90 years later, she's still there. So I try to give her all the check, give her the flowers. I got to go down and give her Mother's Day gift next week. I got to come up with $100. But you know, we got to take care of Mom, because Mom got me where I am today. All right, and I didn't think I was going to see my mother again when I came out of the hospital. So I really take time to thank the Lord for my blessings to be here. Okay, let's see. That threw me off a little bit, my timing. When I start thinking about this cancer, how the Lord brought me back, you know, I lose all my cool with this. So you got to bear with me on this. This thing is still kind of, because really, I'm not supposed to be here. I tell people that all along. I'm supposed to be dead, you know. But the devil would have had it that way, but the Lord stepped in and provided for me and got me here. So all I can say is, hey, I want to thank all those, and I'm going to tell you, the prayers that we've gotten from the West Coast. I mean, I was in Alabama, and people were still praying. And I'm telling you, the Lord hears the prayers of the righteous. Ain't no question about it. You all prayed me through. I told the people up in Seattle the same thing. You all prayed me through this one. See, I was supposed to be dead. The doctors told me I had 6 months to 2 years to live. I had liver cancer and lymphoma cancer, the two worst. They said at Loma Linda, even with that machine they got, they said they don't see nobody living beyond 6 months with the kind of cancer I had. And this thing came up on me out of nowhere. Didn't even know I had it. So when you see this type of thing happen, we are living in the last days. When you see the Lord working these kind of miracles, it's for a reason. And I vowed at Loma Linda when I was in the hospital, I said, Lord, you get me up out of this hospital bed, and I vow I'm coming back with a vengeance to do ministry. And when he raised me up, you see, he don't do nothing halfway. I feel better than I did when I got sick. I just swam 12 laps at the YMCA last week before leaving to come here to show you I'm back. The health is back. All right. So I got one little spot on the pancreas they're concerned about. We got to go see my doctor. I'm doing the CT scan on Monday with the blood test and all that. Thursday I got to see my oncologist. And he's going to let me know. But he told me he wanted me to take the chemo. I said, I don't want no chemo. My man here told me I don't need the chemo. And Dr. Kwan says, okay, Woods, I'll go with it. But if this ain't improved, you're going to have the chemo. He gave me 2 weeks. I begged for another 2, gave me another 2, came back, and that cancer was gone from the liver, and the lymphoma was under control. And see, taking the herbs and taking raw vegetable juice. And he said, basically, I don't care, I don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is, keep doing it. And the thing that amazed me when I showed him 2 of the things that were in the herb packets that he sold at the symposium that I take. In fact, I got my herbs, took a batch last night. I took 36 pills yesterday. Just on the plane, just popping them down, you know, with the vitamins and all the herbs. But when he looked at the ingredients on the packages of the herbs I was taking, one for the liver, one for the kidneys, one for the lymphoma, so forth, he has special ones for each one that he puts his own ingredients together. The doctor looked at it and said, well, I see why you're doing so well. Because he said, you got periwinkle and mandrake in there. And we use both of those in chemotherapy. So here you got natural remedies that I'm taking naturally, and you putting that in a laboratory, giving it to people, and they got to suffer through chemotherapy. And I'm asking, how come you don't give it naturally? And he wouldn't go into no details on that. But we know good well the pharmaceutical companies have a hand in that. See, if they ever find out that you can get cured without taking pharmaceutical stuff, look at the money you will save and how much money they will lose. So people, we've got to wake up. We can't be like everybody else. We are Adventists. We're supposed to be the leaders when it comes to health. And when something's going down, we need to be told. That's why when I find out about it, I call a meeting immediately, have a seminar to warn everybody. So at least our people know. Then you go back and tell your people in your communities. Are you with me? Because believe me, somebody in your community this year is going to come down with cancer or diabetes. And they're going to come to you looking for some kind of help. I had one man called. He's had 3 bouts of chemotherapy already. He called from Baltimore. He's been 3 times in chemotherapy, and the doctors won't give him any more. And the cancer has reoccurred again. So now he's calling me, asking, man, what's the stuff you take? Can you help me out? And I refer him to Floyd, so forth. But if you wait too late, there's nothing anybody can do. See, don't take all this stuff, the chemo and all this and radiation, and then come running trying to take herbs. It ain't going to work. You destroyed half your organs already. There's nothing to work with. So when you first find you got cancer, or somebody's first diagnosed that one of your loved ones, or somebody in your neighborhood or in the church finds they got cancer, immediately let them go to the herbs. Get them on raw vegetable juice immediately. Amen. Okay, and they may not get the herbs as fast, but the raw vegetable juice are there. All right, I just went to Whole Foods. I just found out you got a Whole Foods in Oakland. Didn't even know it. You see, no, I've been going to Trader Joe's, taking that other kind of juice. It's kind of, it ain't got no flavor to it. It's good. But I'm taking Evolution now. Evolution, the one at Whole Foods, it's got everything we need. It's got the beets, it's got the parsley, it's got wheatgrass in there, which is a key thing. It's got celery, it's got spinach, it's got, I forgot the others, all on that bottle. But look for Evolution. Make sure the one that has the beets in it. Okay? Evolution is what it's called. All right? The other one is Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's got their own vegetables. There's only one. That's a good one too. But make sure it's not diluted, no water. It's straight juice. Remember, the juice is better than eating the vegetable because the juice, you the straight juice directly from the heart of the vegetable. You chew broccoli, you got to chew a bunch of it in order to get the same juice you get just when you drain it out. That's why it costs so much more to get the juice. But that juice goes immediately to your system and attacks the cancer cells. And you'll hear more about that. That's how you fight cancer, because cancer is ready to take over your body. And the only way you can do it is by fighting it with something that resists it. Okay? So those are the things I want to tell you from my testimony. Loma Linda had did all they could for me. For 4 weeks I was in there. I'd lost 40 pounds. They finally packed me up, sent me home, rolled me out in a wheelchair because I couldn't even walk out. So in a wheelchair, I leave Loma Linda, go home. They wanted to say, go to hospice. Margie said, ain't no way we're going to no hospice. That means you're ready to die. And so she refused to go there. We went to a former pastor's wife, pastor who passed away, his wife's house. We stayed there for another 2 weeks because they wouldn't let me travel back to Alabama because fearful I'd get on an airplane, catch the flu from somebody, and I wouldn't have anything to fight it with. So the whole thing, my situation was bad. I think, and I really believe the Lord allowed me to get that sick because if this happens to Raiford, with all Raiford knows about health, and if I get knocked down with 2 forms of cancer, when Loma Linda can't even say that I'll come back, what does this tell our people if I'm able to stand here before you today and say what the Lord did for me? You see, it shows you that even our best institutions, with all that chemo and everything, is not going to get the job done. You still got to go back to the Lord's original program. He's got the healing of the leaves for every nation. I mean, it's there. And it took me a long time, but I'm telling you, I believe it wholeheartedly now. That's why I'm ready to fly from Alabama out here just to tell you all that. And next week, we're doing the same thing we're doing here down in L.A., with Southeastern and L.A. coming together. Because you got twice as many people down there with cancer as we got up here. Follow? And we're in this thing together. Whoever, I don't care what conference you're from, when we get to heaven, I expect to see every one of you. See, I don't care what your conference or where your church was from. I ain't going to remember that. I'm going to remember you in your face. Are you with me? So that should be our goal. All right? Okay, I want to thank, again, thank you for all your prayers. My wife is saying I'm taking too much time. All right. At this time, let's see, I want to introduce our speaker. The gentleman who really came to my aid after I came home from Loma Linda. In fact, Loma Linda did not want me taking the herbs that he wanted to give me. Now, this is just to tell you straight up. It was, because I ain't want to. When the Lord spares your life, you ain't got no time to play politics or be politically correct. All right? Loma Linda, when he came, I never met this man. We got a call from one of the pastors who had prostate cancer, and he helped with him. He called. Margie called everybody. When I was in Loma Linda, called Wildwood? Who's the other wood? The one up here? Weedmar. Weedmar up here. Wildwood's in Georgia, right? And then we talked to, Thomas Jackson, right? Him. We talked to a number of different people. Okay? Finally, Lord led us to one individual, because he was down in the southern section, and that was Floyd Mayberry, and didn't know who he was. He came to the hospital, he asked him, do you think he'd help me out? He said, when's the last time you had an enema? I said, Loma Linda won't let me have an enema. Now keep in mind, this is Loma Linda, our own university, would not allow me to have an enema. Okay, a lot of things Loma Linda didn't let me have. Wouldn't let me have alkaline water, which is known to help fight cancer, but wouldn't let me do it. Key point, people, you got to understand, I graduated from Loma Linda, got my master's from there, Loma Linda gave me a doctoral scholarship. But bottom line is, Loma Linda ain't the Loma Linda was back in the 79 when I was there. All right, the head of and I'm not attacking nobody or bad mouthing, but the head of the cancer department, doctor, I won't mention his name, but he's not an Adventist. And the man basically told us when we wanted to use herbal medicine along with that chemo, he said, no, you can't do both. You got to make a decision. You either go with the proton scope that we got, or you go with your herbs. So he later told me either take ours or get out. And that's basically it. All right? And the thing we found out, all they want is numbers for that machine to report to the government. You see, and I wasn't going to be another statistic. So you've got to realize health is your responsibility. You cannot turn it over to any doctor, any hospital, not even our own. There's a lot of money tied into politics. There's a reason why when I left Loma Linda, they gave me 21 bottles of pills that I took home and didn't take any of them. Because basically Floyd said either you take the Loma Linda pills or you go with the herbs. And I said, when we left Loma Linda had 4 weeks and they ain't straightened me out yet. I'm going with the herbs. I still got the bottle of pills in a bag that I showed to demonstrate people. All them pills that they required me to have, I did not take one. In fact, the only one we took was high blood pressure. That was it. And after that, we took herbs within a week. And now remember, I was laid out when they brought me in, laid me down. They were going to give me an enema. They said, you're too weak for an enema. So I had to sleep through Thursday night. Fridays, when I got up, they gave me an enema. They said, they just rolled me, don't worry about being pride or, it's funny when you bloated and can't go to the bathroom, you don't care about no doctor degree or none of that stuff. I ain't Dr. Woods, I'm Raiford. And I mean, the lady said, Floyd, I like how Floyd did it. He put me down. He said, don't worry about going in the bathroom, just lay on here and we're gonna roll your stomach and get all this stuff out. And we got a black bag, just don't be embarrassed, let it out. And normally I say, oh no, man, I'm too sophisticated for that. Boy, I was hurting so bad, I said, okay, just let it all go. So he rolled that stomach, and that stuff came out of me. I'm telling you, it came out, and I could not sit up before that. I mean, I was so weak, I could not sit up by myself. That next Friday, rolled that stuff out, and by the end of Friday, I was sitting up. First time. A week later, I could not even walk. My legs were like that. They were so skinny. A week later, up here, okay, I keep tripping over this thing. A week later, I was able to walk around the house and walk a block. Floyd get up in the morning and walk with me just down the block. By the time I walked the block and come back, I was out of breath. That shows you how bad it was. Within 2 weeks' time, with the herbs, with the raw vegetables, with the diet he gave me, and I'm telling you, he had to fight with me on some of that, because that stuff was nasty. And I just wasn't used to taking it. But you try to eat grits with no butter and no salt or nothing on it. It's rough, and that was dinner. And couldn't have no salad. He put me on a rigid diet, but I went along with it. I said, okay, Lord, following this man's instructions, within a week's time, from the time I got home from Loma Linda, I was walking back and forth a full block and gaining weight and had my appetite back. Within 2 weeks, I was walking a mile a day. 2 weeks' time on God's plan. Are you following? You see, that's what I'm saying. This is no plaything, people. You're here for a reason. And we're here for a reason. We're here to instruct, to tell you what happened. This ain't something I read in some book. This happened to me. And that's a whole nother scenario. That's why it's in my gut. And I told Elder Mitchell, hey, I'll go anywhere. Mitchell wants me to go to every conference and do the same thing. You see, everyone. And he's working with Elder Ricardo Graham now to get the money to do it. They're supposed to have a special meeting, I was told, for the Pacific Union, the Endowment Grant Committee is going to meet to do this. So we're looking to follow this up. This is how important it is, because the inner city is dying from things like cancer, and our church is dying, but we need this more so in the inner city, okay? So you're gonna be hearing more about this, all right? At this point, I wanna thank all you again for your prayers, and I wanna introduce you Mr. Floyd Mayberry. He is the man who God sent, who I did not know, who came and really gave me inspiration to live, because I was ready to plan my funeral. Like I said, I'd given up. I had my pallbearers. I had Kevin, Kevin was in there. I had Gary, had Travis, had Byron Doolin. I already had my pallbearers, BJ, had them all lined up, had Walter Ortiz scheduled to sing, had Anthony Wiggins gonna close out with Jesus Led Me All the Way. Mount Rubidoux Choir was gonna sing in between. I'll just be laying there enjoying all of it in my casket. Everybody else. And I didn't want nobody coming up there crying. I wanted them popping jokes, because I want to go out laughing. That was the way I wanted it. My wife would tell you. I told her I want 3 things in that hospital. Number 1, I want to make sure all our finances are ready. So I had my son-in-law, because my 2 sons are dead. So I said, son-in-law, I want you to take over, because Margie and Marcia ain't going to be able to handle nothing if I'm gone. So he was going to take care and make sure all the bills. I know them insurance companies ain't going to pay unless you come after them. So I want to make sure we had all our money coming in line. He knew where they were. Second thing, I wanted to go out and take a look at my 2 boys' graves, because I knew that's where I was going to be buried, right next to them. And I knew when we woke up, we're going to see our boys, along with the rest of my family.